Hello, you awesome people out there. It is time for another Pokemon Artcast episode. Today, we're going to be looking at some evolution confusion amongst all the games in the anime and the manga. We've got some theories here that fans have argued throughout the years, and even the creators themselves have tried to defend and say, well, this is why this makes sense. So we're going to leave it up to you guys and see how you guys feel about which evolutions make the most sense to you. And then near the end of the show, we're going to do another awesome round of catch or trash, where we show 5 Pokemon and their shiny form. And we all decide whether or not we're going to keep the original, the shiny, both, or trash them all. So with me, as always, is the awesome Josh Shadow. How you doing, man?
Josh Shadow. I no longer have the Poke Rust. That is what killed what should have been 2 weeks ago show. Is like the day of. Somebody's like, "You ready to go?" I'm like, "I can't talk." Literally. He's like, he's like, "Well, then get better. We're not even gonna try." I'm like, "But I feel that. No, go get better. We're not gonna try."
That's right. I mean, I would feel terrible if I had you right here and you're like, okay, so here's what we're going to talk about.
Josh Shadow sounds like he has a 5-pack a day habit.
Right? Get one of those little voice box things. I am Josh Shadow.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let me go ahead and
you forgot to introduce yourself.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
See, that's how very little I care about introducing myself. You all know me. I'm Zombie, aka Zomu, rocking that awesome hairdo. And aviators, of course. I got to give it to you, Josh. You made these Pokemon look just like us in many ways.
Yep, and we still have to work on the Poke Plushes now, which, no, there's not going to be a mass production of those.
Yeah, we'd get sued if we did that.
It's not even just that. It's just the whole... That just sounds like way, way, way too much work for our little operation.
You know, that's true, considering that I have yet to find the exact doll accessories I need to convert my Mew into Zomu, but I'm still looking. I'm hopeful.
Oh, I talked with my crafty mother who used to like be big into the crafting, sewing... Seeing him, like, I'm gonna have to like make a thing to just put over his eyes to be purple, because I'm not gonna sit there and try to dye an official Poke Plush's eyes purple just to match that. I'm already like going, we're gonna take a twisty tie or something like off of bread or something, like put the little glasses frames if I ever find a pair for it, and be like, there we go. You are now Josh Shadow.
I was really happy that I snagged that plush for you, because I did not realize how tricky it was to find him in plush form.
Oh yeah, he's hard.
I thought he would have been readily available, but I was definitely wrong on that front.
Nope. I literally saw him once when I was working at a Target, and for some reason we had got Pokédoll plushes. I didn't even know they were going to do it. So naturally, I'm cruising the toy section on my time off, seeing if there's anything like monkeys after or anything like that. And it's like on an end cap that's usually clearance. So I'm like, okay, what the hell? So at first I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna buy one, and then I'll check my finances later when I get home, because my phone I conveniently left at home. I like forgot to take it with me that day.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't check my bank readily and be like, oh, okay, good, I'm good. I'm like winging last known numbers in my head. So I only buy one. I bought a Zoroark plushie, and I left Marshadow and Zora there. So the next day after I check, I'm like, oh shit, I'm way better than I thought I was. Zora was gone, and so was Marshadow. I was like, aw. But there was plenty of Pikachu sitting there. I'm like, nah, Pikachu can go Pika-Slew.
Nice. It's surprising too, because I mean, we've been in the Pokemon scene for a long time. I was there when it kicked off here in the States. I was into it before it was cool, and I'm sure a lot of our audience here could say the same thing. Which, by the way, welcome everybody
Oh yeah,
to this
very much welcome.
return episode here.
Let's see. Let's roll down the list real quick. We've got Louise, Trainer Vash Starwin, Trainer Linda, aka the gamer girl. Got tongue tied there. Sorry, Louise. I've meant to mention you. I apologize as a trainer. We've got Chris James T, Pokemon trainer. Hector, the lovable, I'm going to say Jigglypuff for the sake of argument here. Closest thing to a Kirby I can think of right now. Let's see, who else is looking about? We've got Victory Leo, the lovable Poke Merchant. I think I got everybody.
Yep,
I think I got everybody.
So hey, that's all right. You know what? We always say whether we have an audience or not, we're here to have fun.
Oh, that's that is the plan.
Exactly. And today's topic is going to be a doozy. But you all know how we appreciate the likes and shares, everybody. So feel free to do so at your leisure as we jump into the topic. Let's see here. Do we have any good Poke news right now we can share?
Oh, have you heard about some of the leakage that's going on with Scarlet and Violet?
I have, but I have not actually gone into detail with that.
There's a person on YouTube. He's like Clue something or whatever. He's like dropping riddles, and everyone's like trying to take his riddling as legit things, since this individual apparently got it right with Arceus a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the big things that people are thinking is going to be true is the cover legendaries are going to be dragon type. There's probably going to be 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the mains are going to be dragon. Then it's going to be electric, dark, and I think fighting.
Yeah.
And then there's the theory of what the final forms of the starter trio's secondary types are going to be. Grass is going to be dark. Water is going to be fighting, and fire is going to be ghost.
Mm-hmm. I've seen kind of, again, the fan theories of what they're going to look like, and I know that at some point, I believe Nintendo actually showed what the final forms were going to be. Not the in-between line, but the final ones. I'm trying to see if I can...
I haven't seen any like official, like even hinted pictures, but Tauros, no one's exactly sure yet if it's going to be a regional variant evolution, or just a whole new evolution altogether. But it's going to be like the belief is it's going to be a fighting subtype, a secondary, and he's going to be like a Minotaur, which good on him. Tauros has deserved an evolution for a while.
No kidding. He's a badass, even without having a particular type. I mean, he is a normal type, but I mean, up until new designs came along, he was a pretty good tank. He really was. And me being a Taurus myself, I'm like, come on, let's represent here. Let's give the bull guy some love.
Oh yeah. But real quick, we've now got Pokemon Trainer K2J Extreme. We've got Pokemon Trainer Retro Gaming Star joining us. We've got Yugoslav Video Game Nerd, the other Poke Merchant. And Games, Movies, and Comics R Us, the Pokemon Wanderer, joining in.
Awesome, guys. Welcome. Appreciate y'all being here as we're about to get closer and closer to the topic at hand. We are just briefly discussing some minor rumors that we have come across. I'm going to go ahead and screen share what I have recently seen. Again, these are all just rumors, so we don't know for sure if these are going to be the guaranteed forms and designs, but I got to say, I at least like one of them so far. There we go. So we've got this cat ballerina as kind of like a final form in theory. This one I'm trying to make sense of because it looks like a dragon with a green apple on its back.
It's like they're trying to do, because it's in Spain.
Right.
So you remember like the dancers in Vega's original Street Fighter? Yeah. it's kind of like that's what they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're gonna go for it, I don't think it's gonna be as that many blossoms. Mostly because I just don't see somebody taking the time to render them that much.
Let's get rid of that thing down there. Yeah, I think the one form I'm definitely impressed with is this sort of fencer, sort of
The
based off of
Conquistador.
Yeah, that one's kind of badass now.
I mean, I like the idea for the look on the fire, on how they went with Derpy, kind of got badass looking for the fire one.
Uh-huh.
But I just, honestly, I don't see them. Maybe that might be the direction they're going, but like the fire one, it doesn't look ghost enough. It looks more like a plant than a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the water type that looks more like it'd be a steel type than a fighting type, right?
Yeah, water steel.
And then I'm sorry, but if you're gonna be dark, you're not gonna have pink, and you're not gonna look all super festive. It's like they're keeping it. It's almost like they're keeping it like either fairy or pure grass.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not completely against, but I just, like I said, I like their illustrations, like the fire and water I really like. But they don't scream what everyone's believing.
Yeah, CJT's pretty much the same how I feel about this. The water type looks the best. However, I'm not wanting to choose a duck, but I choose it knowing it turned into that. See, I'm the same way because we already do have some duck Pokemon, Psyduck, and what's the little blue one with the inner tube? Or not an inner tube.
There's Ducklet. That evolves into Swanna.
Mm-hmm.
There's Psyduck. God, I think there's another one. I can't remember. I want to say there's a third one, but I'm not sure.
Golduck. Let's see.
You know what? Hold on a minute.
Who's that Pokemon? We can't remember.
As I'm typing Google into Google, it's like I want to say duck Pokemon. It's like literally I've like Google duck Pokemon. It's like one of these words does not need to be in the search bar.
Right.
Let's see.
You know what, RGS, that's a good point. I would actually like to see that. And I kind of got that vibe with some of the Alolan designs that they were going towards that part of the world. And I'm all for it, honestly. I think that would be a really cool world to explore that we haven't seen yet. So that's definitely got my vote for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, GMC, that is quite the undertaking, my friend.
I'm behind by I think three or four movies now. And it's mostly because they've been on whatever streaming platform and it's like, okay, that's too much hassle.
Yeah, I've been trying to get all the TV sets off of Amazon. I've been trying to get all the seasons that I'm missing because some of them actually go on sale. And I mean, they go from $40 to $10. So
yeah, it's crazy.
I'm definitely trying to take advantage of that.
I did notice something I was going to bring up to you earlier when we were talking about format for today's episode. Did you notice that the Pokemon Center shop is right now? I don't know if it has anything to do with the quote unquote world crisis that we're having. But I wanted to see what plushes out of pure boredom because I got an email, saying, "Oh, check out the celebration theme they're doing this year for graduations," and it listed nothing. Almost everything I clicked on was zeroed out. I was like, maybe I just got a weird bug at the time.
So let me just go ahead and change this one. Before we jump to the Pokemon Center store, I just want to highlight these other fan art speculations. Check these out.
See, now those I could believe the themes that everyone's thinking they're going to be.
And look at these names. Don't they just scream awesome? Desperado.
Oh, yeah. Definitely wants you to roll that.
Yeah. Now his definitely I could believe
could be a ghost type.
Yeah. And not to mention not to mention a possible fan theory was that his final evolution was supposed to be based off of Quetzalcoatl, which I already say Rayquaza is that, but
Hey.
I could see that. I could see this highly being influenced by that. So that's got my vote for sure.
Oh yeah. I still think I if it's fairy like they're predicting, which I'm sure this article is probably old before the we all believe leak.
Mm-hmm.
That could still pass for ghost. It's like just adjust its color slightly and totally would work.
Yeah. I wish they would give Sergal, however you say it, Sergul. I hope that if they go with this design, they give him that conquistador armor that this rumor has. I like that more.
Or suggest it at least, like make the look appear like his feathers are colored or leading you to believe that theme.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I like that other one's design, but it just screams steel. It does not scream fighting to me.
No, it doesn't. I would highly go with a water steel type because that's actually the hybrid form we could have had with one of the evolutions we'll look at today. So that definitely would have my vote.
My vote.
And as always, guys, if you come across any news of interest like this, please feel free to share it in the comments section of this video and also in my Discord, so that way we can keep everyone up to date. Because I know this has been a hot topic.
Don't be afraid to suggest ideas of discussion to us if you think we should make an episode.
Exactly.
Because we can't come up with all the ideas now, can we?
I mean, we could, but can we leave them to the vote again?
The well will run dry fast, and we both know it.
True. All right, so let's take a look at what we have going on at one of our favorite stores.
Well, if you want to pay like automatic markup price, yes, this is your favorite store. And that's not a joke either. I see
the Pokemon Center.
Yeah, see, like this, like act like you're gonna go to like plushies or something, and like just click on anything. It was like weird. It's like was not listing anything for me. Oh, there it is. Now it's listing shit. So it was just I had a bad freaking connection or something, or I caught them in an awkward moment.
The 6-inch Garchomp is back. Heck yeah!
If Zombie should add that to his cart and get it later, vote now.
Right? Yo, look at that. That is sick.
Yep. That actually is a really good rendition of them. I've seen previous Garchomps that were kind of like iffy, if you get what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I have the official Pokemon tush tag and everything. I'm like, I don't care what you have. And the fact you're in a legit store, you look sketch.
And these are legit, everyone. We definitely, I've ordered from them.
I have. I ordered before they closed down and then reopened. I've ordered from them.
Mm-hmm.
This is like how to make sure you're not getting a scalper knockoff.
Exactly. And it's unfortunate because sometimes you really, really have to be watching their stock because some things just get bought up quicker than others. But they are always restocking their items and their gear. And I've been buying plushies from them. I bought a few shirts. Sadly, I've outgrown them.
Josh Shadow made a mistake telling Zombie about this store. Like I sent him a link to something one time. And he's like, "Oh my god, I didn't know this existed." Like, uh-oh.
So while we are not endorsed by the Pokemon Center, we highly recommend them if you're in the need to purchase any type of collectible.
They do have themes though too. Like sometimes they have very specific theme wear, which is awesome. Like there's one for a minute there was a big promotion for Espeon and Umbreon together, and there was some really cool stuff. And unfortunately, I was in a bad financial spot, so I never got any of it. But I was like, "Oh, I love that." The most I was able to get was the celebration. Like you gave Nintendo like $2 or $3, and you downloaded the wallpaper to your 3DS.
Yeah,
but it's still on my 3DS, so That shows how much I liked that image. It was like, yeah, this is an awesome image. Totally worth it.
Before Pokemon Arceus took over my time and dedication because I don't play Go as hardcore as I used to. I was actually interested in this little backpack, the little incubator backpack from Go.
It
And I
still
was
looks
actually
cool.
I was gonna walk around with one of my favorite plushies in there just because I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, don't lie. You would have figured out how to like make a cracked open egg and just had him sitting in there like, look what I hatched, mother.
So yeah, this is an awesome place to buy any of your Pokemon gear if you're interested in items like this. And then again, we've got this new release section. Looks like they have definitely added more for the graduation part of it.
Mm-hmm. Then they have
Last
things
time I
like
checked,
occasionally that site will for sure have like exclusive Japanese Pokemon Center stuff, but it's real limited number. So it's like literally you got to jump on it because they don't restock it as often.
right. Yeah, this is the closest thing we can get to Pokemon Center, the Pokemon Center in Japan, without having to go to Japan. So that's why a lot of these items are really cool.
That's actually kind of false. I know it's
Really?
false. There is a Pokemon Center kiosk in a mall in Washington. I believe it's outside Everett. I visited it twice. And I bought literally 2 Pokédolls from it. I bought a Skyform Shaman and a Sylveon from it at each time I went. So it was a test bed we were supposed to get 2 Pokemon centers in the United States, one in California, in San Francisco that never happened. And part of the Nintendo store in New York originally was supposed to be, instead of Nintendo New York, was supposed to be a Pokemon Center New York.
Ah, interesting. See? Didn't have all the facts. Good to know.
Didn't have all the facts. That's like super old knowledge, though. I'm sure somebody will pop in. Somebody will pop in and be like, "You're full of it, Josh Shadow." And I'll be like, "Uh-huh." You see what happens to all the fools that try to take Mew from under the truck in Cinnabar? Let's go.
Fair enough.
I told you about that.
No worries, RGS. I got you covered, man. Here you go. It lets me paste it here. There you go.
Paste what? What are we pasting? Oh, a Discord
that
link.
That is the link to my Zombie Horde Discord. And yes, we have an exclusive section for Pokemon. So feel free to chat it all up there.
Oh, and for anybody that like saw my earlier advertisements that it was 6 p.m. Pacific Standard, Josh Shadow is still apparently figuring out the time zone mechanics. Zombie's like, we ride at 7. I'm like, okay, so 6 my time. He's like, yes. I'm like, okay. I can't believe I got that right. Then later, as we're getting there, I'm like, okay, we ready to go? He's like, I thought I said 7. I'm like, oh. Like, yeah, you screwed up here, but no worries.
Not a problem. We all get confused with time zones, and most of us hate them, so it is not a big deal. Not a big deal at all.
So I will have to make changes to that advertisement later.
So let's jump into the topic.
Uh-oh. This sounds dangerous.
Evolution confusion. Now, if you've been in the Pokemon scene as long as we have, or even if you're just starting and you've noticed that some of these forms really just seem off, you're not alone. Because going all the way back to Gen 1, there has been some confusion as to whether or not what we get in a Pokemon's evolutionary line makes any sense, despite the fact if it shares minor characteristics from the previous form or shares nothing at all. So that is what we're going to be focusing on today. And we're going to start with probably the oldest and most well-known example. And we're going to mix in some other ones that may not be as straightforward. And that's where we're going to enjoy these debates about whether or not the evolution lines make sense. So let's kick off this first one here with some of our oldest insect friends, and that's the Caterpie and Beninet line.
You know, that one I'm going to tell you, I think was a wise decision that they flipped it. I think, honestly, that was a good choice.
Tell us about that, Josh. What do you mean they flipped it?
So, the theory was, what it really comes down to is the belief that Butterfree was supposed to be Venonat's evolution, and Venomoth was supposed to, what we got as Venomoth was supposed to be the form Butterfree took on Caterpie's final evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a belief that those got flipped. And
Right.
Kakuna got flipped with Metapod's design. And I'm like, okay, so we're just trying to muddy the waters all kind of up. But to me, it's like you look at Venomoth and be like, you know, that would looks cooler coming out of poor little Venonat. And a butterfly, you know, looks better coming out of from a caterpillar. Just made sense to me.
Right. That's a given.
I mean, the only thing you could probably change, but may look a little wonky, would have been like, okay, we'll give Venomoth, what the form we gave Venomoth, the compound insect-looking eyes that Venonat had, and then switch its eyes it had with Butterfreeze and be like, okay, there, happy now? I'm like, no, now it just looks creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Josh has messed with that because he was curious.
Yeah, because I mean, when you look at it, it makes sense for a caterpillar to become a butterfly. That's a given. But if you look at the traits, you know, it kind of makes sense that this would go into this.
Oh, yeah.
And same here.
The mouth, the eyes, the antennas of Venonat and Butterfree look very similar. Then the whole idea that, you know, it has the different kind of eyes and the horn-like structure for what Venomoth has and Caterpie have would almost make sense. And because Metapod takes that like weird kind of pointy shape, that's where people kind of get that. Got to dodge here for a second. Yes, Josh is still working on his Pokédex while doing this show. I suggested to Zomu that he should do it, but he looks at me like I'm crazy, so...
Well, I mean, I could do it, but, you know, I got a ton of other things going on behind the scenes here.
Just make me sound more and more like a Slaughter. Slaughter the slacker. That's what he's going to do to me after the show. Watch, he's going to try to put me in a Pokeball.
It's like, back you. So I would say that, okay, so you think that what they flipped was the best choice.
I feel that it just, from an aesthetics point, I see what they did, and it does kind of make sense. Whether it was intentional or not, I can't say. I'm sure there's some documentation somewhere in the world that's like, no, this was never intended, blah, 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 etc., etc. But as fan theories go, I kind of like, leave it. I think it was a better choice than being like, oh, they did it the last second because such and such, whatever reason.
You mentioned Kakuna.
Yeah, there was a theory out there that was like Kakuna was supposed to be swapped. And I'm like, I don't know. Kakuna's very...
So you're saying that it was rumored that Kakuna should have been the next stage in...
For Caterpie and Metapod should have been... Metapod should have been Weedles. And I'm like,
That's kind of a stretch, I think, but I can see where they're going with that.
I can see it like the head shape maybe and the whole more, you know, because it's more of a cylindrical oval shape than how Metapod's more of a whole, you know, kind of crescent shape.
Right.
But I still say it's like really hard reaching kind of feel there.
Fair enough. And as always, if anyone in the chat would like to share their opinion on flipping, in theory again, flipping Butterfree and Venomoth as the final evolutions, feel free to share your opinions on that. I think
Go ahead.
Logically, it makes sense that they did that because, again, everyone knows a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. I think if they really, really wanted to keep Venonat, and Venomoth sort of linked there, they might have wanted to redesign Venomoth to incorporate that. So we could have gotten, in theory, 3 caterpillar or larvae type Pokemon for the line there.
We could have. I mean, I'm sure
So
there's some people that feel we should have,
yeah,
but to them, I'm like, I kind of liked it. Venonat was a 2-stager as opposed to Weedle and Caterpie. Yeah, they leveled super quick, into their forms,
mm-hmm.
but they were 3-step, and sometimes you don't want to sit there and do every Pokemon on your team has to be 3-step evolution.
Right. And I always recommend, if you're going to evolve your Caterpie all the way through. That way, at least Metapod can learn Tackle.
I always say start if you're doing it for like competitive use of some kind. Start with the base form. Don't just go, oh look, I caught a wild Metapod or a wild Kakuna, and then go off of it, because then you're gonna sit there for however many more levels you need. You're having to do the battle thing.
Mm-hmm.
Doing your buff to raise your defense until either the enemy struggles or you inevitably have to switch out to something that can kill what you're fighting, so you can get that experience, have that experience every time.
And the same for Weedle. If you want, Hydro, I think, is a highly underrated Pokemon. I know he's weak.
You're breaking up there, bud.
I was just saying that Beedrill learning Twin Needle can really, really do some damage, especially against our psychics.
Well, think about this for a minute. Beedrill got a Mega Evolution, and then Butterfree turned around and in Sword and Shield got a Gigantamax variant.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some fan base love there.
Yep.
Poor Venomoth has yet to see anything like that.
So yeah, always evolve a Caterpie all the way through. Always evolve a Weedle all the way through. That way your forms have an offensive attack, for sure. So let's look at another one. This one is an odd one, because I have heard so many different theories argued here about the origins, about the final evolutions.
Yeah. The weird Kuna baby linked to Cubone, or just a straight, just being a straight Kangaskhan.
Yep. All based on happiness and, of course, gender.
Yeah, no. I kind of like the idea that Cubone's mother this goes with the whole, maybe Cubone's mom was a Charizard, because Cubone's skull kind of looks like a Charizard skull. I'm like, okay. I mean, most of that Kangaskhan thing comes off that the baby shares a good chunk of like body design with Cubone.
Yep. It's got the same head shape from what we can tell, at least. And just
like its shades. Body, the way its legs are drawn, the way its arms are positioned and drawn, and the way its tail's drawn. That's about pretty much where the likenesses kind of end. But you got to also remember, when they were designing these Pokemon back then, they had X amount of space they were allowed to take up for their design in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So like parts were definitely going to be used to minimize space consumption. It's not like today where it's like, oh, we can just put out a patch later and tell people they need to have 2 gigs on their game right open for this. This was them trying to pack on as much stuff as they could to a Game Boy cart.
And why do you think that we have yet to see what's either underneath Cubone's skull, or if there's ever going to be an evolution, a line between, the baby Kangaskhan to the adult form, and then of course we've got the male variant down here, which is speculation. I'm wondering if that's something that they've even looked at or considered.
I think honestly, there's a love mythos to the fan base of wondering what Cubone's mother really looks like, or that just we accept it's just this random either another Cubone or it's a Marowak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that could work. That would mean that poor Marowak has all this time been wearing a skull on the inside and then basically plate armor trapped in its head.
Right. Right. Because
Which
they've never.
that way is kind of messed up and kind of traumatic.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you read the Pokedex entries involving Cubone, and all the way back to Gen 1, the only time we really saw Marowak was the deceased one in Lavender Town. So there's already the tragic backstory, and then as the Pokedex entries were altered throughout the games, then it just became more and more saddening, more depressing in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, we still don't know what lies under that skull. Kind of like we don't know what's underneath the ground when it comes to looking at Diglett. Although there's some very interesting fan art there. I'm not going to showcase it. We are trying to be PG rated here, but if you're really interested in what some fan theories are, you can look for it.
We do not endorse any kind of messed up for or kinky stuff here at Artcast. That
exactly.
Is Artcast After Dark.
Yep.
If anyone wants to pick that show up, let us know. All we ask is we get a producer credit on it.
Or heck, we can always come back to it.
Otherwise, as it stands right now, we're kind of okay. Send us a check, and we won't be striking you with copyrights and all that, saying you stole our name. No.
So let's start to look at some other well-known theories here. And again, these are going to be ones that we bring up to kind of figure out if there's any logic behind these evolutions, or did they just kind of like draw themselves into a corner and just for like, well, let's do this and nobody will notice.
About nothing but Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald for the next however many minutes.
I know that's where a lot of them are too, and I think Alolan region definitely has a lot of like.
Alolan, though, if you look at the region they based it off of, and what they were trying to do, I can kind of justify.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely get into the Darwinian.
Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. No, I can't. I just can't. I'm like, nope. The advanced games do not get a free pass here. Like the only Pokemon I can think they gave me that I honestly like was like, oh my god, I love this Pokemon. That wasn't a legendary. Okay, we're not counting the legendaries because that's where it looked like they put a little bit of effort into it. Absol.
Yeah, I can see that.
Absol, I had no problems with because I felt that was like a legit Pokemon design.
Mm-hmm. So let's get to our first one here from Gen 1. I'm trying to get a picture. I don't want to. Yeah, this one will work. Okay. No, that is not what I wanted.
This is not the Poke picture you are looking for.
This definitely is not.
And while we've got him searching, let's welcome Pokemon trainer Real Hero Gaming. A Wild Geeks in Cash has appeared, followed by Pokemon Nurse Assistant Monkey Fiji.
All right, so let's look at this one here. This is a definite well-known example for sure. And that's the Dratini line.
Where it makes sense up until the last form.
So, ignoring Dragon Nymph down here, which I think would be a cool addition if that were true. We've got Dratini here. My favorite in the line, Dragonair. And then we got Dragonite.
You mean they're kind of Pete's Dragon without the wig?
Yeah, I could see that.
Dude, look at its shiny and tell me if it didn't suddenly have a red-headed wig with its horn popping out, you would be like, oh my god, that's totally right. Josh had that right on the money. That's sadistic bastard. No.
This one has never made sense to me since I first played Red and Blue. And it's not because the line couldn't make sense. It's just such a huge, drastic change. I mean, it grows to a much bigger height, completely different color tone, grows legs, arms, and wings, and
got the antennae.
Yeah, we got the antennae there, and it loses these awesome wing type appendages on the head, like Thor's original helmet.
He's not bitter, folks. He's not bitter at all.
I'm not bitter.
You can totally sense the love.
I am not bitter at all, but I will say again, this line didn't make sense to me. And over the years, a lot of different information has surfaced. One of the theories is that because Dratini and Dragonair had a different concept artist and Dragonite had a different concept artist, that's where the mismatch happened. I haven't seen it yet, but from what I have read, there's an explanation as to why Dragonite looks like this from Dragonair, and that's in one of the Pokemon shows or specials where Ash's Dragonite, they say the reason he became Dragonite is because Dragonair wanted to evolve so that it could save people at sea, and that's why it grew appendages, because Dragonair can fly on its own.
There's a Pokedex entry, and I know you're gonna, and they even brought this up if Pokedexes were literal.
Right.
On Dorkly, that they remember things, and so I'm contradicting that one very hard because it's like, yeah, no, not even. I don't buy that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I would give it that they do need to. Well, according to this, it used some fan-made item called Pearl Dust or Pixie Dust or something. I can't really. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at a smaller window here, which I'm not okay with. I'm like, why don't we just make it a gender evolution? Let's just make it simple, you know?
Right. I mean, we already have some of those, so why not? It makes perfect sense to me.
Or since we're like super fans about this, make it a region evolution.
Yep.
I could get behind that, you know? It works. I don't know if I'd keep him red. I'd probably just keep that blue streak just going, you know?
Speaking of the blue streak, though, there was rumors that this Pokemon was also flipped. And
oh no, Gyarados wasn't flipped. Gyarados' original design was changed, and for the better. I saw the beta of that thing. Oh my god. You've seen that, right?
I have, but I don't recall the characteristics. I can recall what the beta
it's very much
like.
It's very much parasitic, like Lamprey looking, but it's like straight nightmare fuel. Here, I'll see if I can find an image of it real quick.
Sure.
And I'll send you a link here.
I don't mind that Gyarados is Magikarp's true of evolution because I love the myth that this is based off of. And his moveset actually correlates with the myth. So it makes sense why Gyarados, even when he evolves, his moves are all over the place and don't make sense until you properly raise it. I have always liked that. Now leveling a Magikarp takes forever,
You
even if you're
you
trying to
gotta
speed
want
level.
it. You
Yep.
gotta want it. Unless you have what I fably called back in the day James's boot of evolution. Like anytime he kicked a Pokemon, man, all of a sudden it just evolved, was like super leveled, way bigger than it should have been. It's like, oh man, I just had like a complete rage streak against everything.
I'm gonna see if I can find that and hopefully
I
not
just
get.
sent you a link to a thing that somebody already like made a compilation of images. So on their
Okay.
Twitter page, I just DM'd you it.
I'm gonna show this clip because it's one of my favorite moments in the anime, and if you guys want to hear it with sound, I can try to play the sound. I just don't want to get copyright struck.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So for those who have never seen the anime, James of Team Rocket actually got suckered into buying a Magikarp. And sadly, Magikarp proved, at least to everyone else, that it was kind of useless. It couldn't even swim.
Drown.
But to his credit, Magikarp becomes a beast. And not through raising, through a
Not,
boot.
not even this one, man. Straight boot to the face.
Mm-hmm. And I'll admit, when I saw this as a kid, I thought it was such a cool moment because the sad little fish that nobody wanted turns into this.
Turns into something everyone's absolutely freaking terrified of.
And isn't James's Gyarados like abnormally huge compared to the size of a normal Gyarados?
Yeah, and even apparently while doing Dragon Dance, and it's like, or whatever it was, whatever dance they said it was doing at the time, like summoned other freaking Gyarados to join in. It was like, oh man, you messed up big.
Yeah, and I remember watching that going, wait a minute, Dragon Rage doesn't let you summon other Gyarados. Or at first, like, did it grow other heads? Like, did it become a Hydra? What the heck? What am I watching? But it was just so cool to see that one.
Something went down. I don't know what, but something went down.
So
the feeling we all had at that moment, like, shit just got real. What?
Mm-hmm. So again, when we look at the Dragonair or the Dratini evolution, I could see why some fans would want Gyarados to replace Dragonite. I could see that because they're blue, they're serpentine. I get it. Me personally, keep it where it's at because
it doesn't make sense. Like, you look at it, it would have to be like they'd have to put in some sort of like dark mechanic. Almost like I want to say Clam Pearl, where there's like two different items that should decide what it evolves into.
Right?
And it's like, no.
I think if they had gone the kind of light and dark route, but again, we're talking early Gen 1 when those mechanics probably weren't even thought of. Like maybe evolve a Dratini into Dragonair during the day and at night turn Gyarados. Or
Dratini would have had to have come out during the next gen game then for that to have worked. Because that's Silver and Gold were where time got brought in when they started doing the whole nocturnal Pokemon thing. And why I've got the mic. Welcome, Pokemon Trainer Dad Level Podcast.
So, for me, keep Gyarados, keep Magikarp together because those are my boys. And I actually ordered some gear from the Pokemon Center. I've got a blue tank top with Magikarp on it that I wear when I work out.
Well, aren't you just like, lucky to have fit printed shirts for an affordable price? Some of us have to struggle.
Oh no, I'm already experiencing that because my Gyarados Thrash shirt I can't fit because my back's too huge.
Okay, let me guess. You didn't follow the hang dry instructions, did you?
No, I did not.
That's where that came into play, folks. No, come at me when you have to buy like 6X and we'll talk.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Where somehow we went from a couple bucks per size to like a giant, almost $5, $10
$10 difference. Yep.
Where we start seeing double digits if you want something that doesn't look like it came out of like somebody's luggage lining.
Right. I've been there, man. I know.
I mean, yeesh. I had to wear bigger sizes when I was in shape simply because I'm tall and I have to cover parts of my body, you know? It's not because I was like a big, round, fat fucker that needed to fill it. It was I needed it to cover me. I'm being real on that one. Like, oh no, what's the phrase the cool kids use? I'm keeping it 100 or whatever.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I heard something and I'm like, okay, why?
All right, let's kick it off into Gen 2 with, I wouldn't say this one is too controversial, but it is definitely odd.
You say
because
odd. I say interesting. No, I haven't even seen it yet.
I'm sure you'll agree it is interesting though. And that is, now this is a line that has spread out through the game, so not all of them were readily available, but it's the Togepi line.
Togekiss, I always felt it was weird. Like somebody drew a shape they really just liked too much, like for a logo or something for another company. It didn't get picked up, so like, well, I really want to use this, and they stumbled onto like Togepi and Togetic's kind of look, and they're like, let's just slap on a couple little changes and good enough.
Right. Because when you look at it, we've got Togepi, who we got in Gen 2.
Mm-hmm. And Togetic we got Togetic in Gen 2, and then I think Togetic didn't come out until until Diamond, Pearl, Platinum.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got Togekiss, who looks more like a
blob.
Stealth bomber.
Mind you, that thing is with the exception of Arceus, because of its Pokemon power, people like to use it where it can stat lock somebody.
Oh, Togekiss in Go is a beast. Highly recommend having him.
You know what I mean by stat lock, right?
Yes, I do.
Or it's not stat lock, stasis lock. Basically, where your opponent can't do shit. It's like you paralyze them. It was always paralyzed, specifically paralyzed. So Thunder Wave with him was like insane.
And then when you look at Togetic, this was theorized to be some sort of angel evolution, or at least close to it. So my question is, when you look at Togepi and you look at Stealth Bomber here, it almost seems like Togekiss should have been the in-between form, and then Togetic should have been the last one, based on characteristics.
I say Togekiss should have just been his own Pokemon altogether, and somebody should have just finished designing it.
Okay.
Instead of trying to link it in and be like, oh, well, we said we were giving new evolutions to some Pokemon. Let's do that. Yeah. So I feel like if you took the horn points away and like tried to like maybe give like a small neck and an actual head to it, it would seem like a real Pokemon. Or even keep the points, just give it a little more like a head, sort of like how Togetic there, or Togechick as you're calling it, or Tick or whatever, the second form has like this kind of a neck where it's very obvious this is where its head is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never super been a fan of Togepi's evolution line anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just weird to me.
Yeah, Togekiss has that same thing with Chikorita where they don't have a face or a head fully defined. They just have features, and it's weird.
But with that though, at least with Chikorita, once it evolves, it kind of it's like, okay, so it's kind of like a weird larva kind of like Pokemon thing. Okay, I can work with that. Togekiss here, that's not the case. It's like the end game. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
When you brought up the angel theory, it's like, okay, well, maybe somebody was playing a little too much Devil May Cry or what is it? Not the female basic version they did. Bayonetta.
Bayonetta.
Where that really is what they're going against is angels.
Mm-hmm. It gives me that Neon Genesis kind of vibe, but it's poorly executed in that way.
Exactly.
You know? So while I feel that Togekiss is very useful in some of the games, the evolution line just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, we've got 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 legs, wings, and then 2 feet, wing arms, you know.
If you can call them that. I mean, realistically, unless it was like gliding or something, I could not believe that thing could flap its way, honestly, off the ground.
Right. And that's why I refer to it as a stealth bomber, because those of you who have played Arceus, when you go to catch that thing on the mountaintop, that's all he's doing.
He's just gliding. He's not even flapping his wings.
Yeah, he's just straight up gliding.
Until he breaks out of the ball, and like even then, it's not really an animatic of him like flapping his wings or anything.
No, he just very slight movement. His head
up. It's like it's very like any kind of movement is where the arm region is very slight.
Mm-hmm.
It is not bueno.
So there's that one. Let's see here. Where's my list? I want to make sure I'm marking these off as we go.
This is Zamu, and he's got a list.
That's right. Trying to keep things organized, folks. We're trying.
And then we've got the Pikachu himself, Ikun, who dropped in, and's going, hell yeah, Togetic. I'm like, okay. Well, out of the 2 evolutions of Togepi, I would stick with Togetic because at least it looks like a Pokemon that is just a giant white blob with some sprinkles on it.
He kind of reminds me of those styrofoam gliders. If any of you guys ever played with those,
I remember getting those being a sucker and getting those every time and like play with them for like a month until like it would crash into something and finally like be beyond repair.
Yep, that's exactly what I see when it comes to that. All right, like, so let's look at
crash and burn.
Let's look at our next one. And this one is popular because the evolution would make sense had the beta forms not been altered. So we're going to be looking at 2 Pokemon who had redesigns, and their redesigns caused their evolution to not make sense. And that is Remoraid and Octillery.
I mean, considering Remoraid used to be mounted on the underside of Mantine's wings or fins, depending on how you want to judge it, which I always liked. I thought it was a neat touch.
That's one we can take a look at too.
But then they like got weird and like for some, I don't even remember the reason they decided after that none of the illustrations or sprites would have Remoraid being symbiotic relationship anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, it's like, okay, so basically what happened is because to do that, you have to have a malleable sucker of some kind, to attach yourself. It would make sense that it turns into an octopus if it didn't have anything because it's got to be clingy and that's how it survives. Would kind of make sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, if it's going to sprout tentacles, it might as well either be a squid or an octopus, and which one's easier to do and not look like a blooper back then? Probably the octopus.
Right. And I'm going to see if I can... Oh, perfect. I'm going to pull up the beta designs for these guys.
You never did show the beta design for Gyarados.
Oh shoot! I need to go back to that.
That thing is straight nightmare fuel, honestly.
I'll do that as we get closer to the end of the topic for sure. Just remind me.
Just remind me.
All right, so here is what their beta designs were, and it's really too bad that they did not keep them. But for all intents and purposes, I can see why they didn't.
It looked too militia.
Yeah. We've got Remoraid that resembles a revolver.
And then they've got then he looks like he's like some sort of tank soldier. Yeah, I could see why that would not look good.
The German army helmet here. The Darth Vader as you were.
I mean, I could totally see it. It's that was a good call.
So the evolution is linked on the theory that it's all militia ammunition based. So again, we've got an interesting design, but definitely offensive. And like you brought up earlier, Josh, that there's the link between Remoraid and Mantine, however you say it.
However you want to say it, yeah.
Let me see if I can find his picture here. I know I saw one.
I mean, I always thought it was cool, but that's me,
Okay, here we go. So this is another evolution kind of linked to it. We've got... No, not that.
You sure you don't want to recap your Google?
No, I'm sure I don't. Oh, look at that. Errors. Awesome. Let's try this one. Okay, so you can kind of see here we've got Mantike, which is the baby form. A Remoraid bites it or clings to it somehow, and then we get...
Or under its fins, yeah.
Yeah, Mantine, however you want to say it.
Let's see if I can look up.
It keeps bringing it back to the same page.
Probably that website.
Yeah. And you can see him right here. He's clinging for dear life under his wing there, which kind of gives, again, that allusion to militia-based Pokemon, because this definitely looks like a bomber plane.
See, to me, it just was like, oh, that just kind of looked cool. Like jet engines or something like that is what I always thought. Like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. So imagine if he flew out of the ocean and bombed with Remoraids. How cool would that be?
Well, the idea was if he did water gun or something, they shot too. So it's with the idea behind it, but then like anything, somebody had to Karen it or cancel culture it back, whatever we were calling it back then. That's right. PC. I don't really remember what you call it, but I do remember he was a gold exclusive Pokemon at the time. So if you had silver, you had to trade. But luckily we got breeding, which was awesome. So it wasn't like you were stuck. You got to make your own.
You know what would have been a really cool pairing, and this is just going with the whole militia idea. Imagine a Blastoise dual wielding Remoraids while riding while riding Octillery. Make Octillery huge, like Gyarados or even Onyx size.
Let's bring Pokemon Fusion in. We'd have Mega Blastoise combined with some giant Octillery like that design, while somehow having side-mounted Remoraid's on him, just so he has a couple more extra cannons for no reason.
I'm just saying, isn't that a cool concept?
It would have been a fun concept.
I think that would have been freaking sick.
Now, let's not even count Gigantamax Blastoise, which basically is just a gun fortress on his back.
That's true. Oh, Ikun here. I'd love to see Advance Wars with just Remoraid and Octo Tank.
That's probably where they ended up. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. Somebody had to have stolen that design. And again, this is one that's based merely off physical characteristics, no real distinction between like can a bluefish genetically evolve into an octopus?
Nope. It's just fun.
Yeah. Although there is a theory that this is based off of a Japanese fisherman joke, in that when they would bring in their fish hauls for the day, they would sometimes have octopi trapped in there with them and would joke about how the fish evolved into an octopus to escape the net. That's kind of stretching it, but that's something that I came across.
Well, that's better than some of the dirtier stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah. And going back to what we mentioned earlier, had they kept this original design, they would have been a water steel type hybrid, which would have been awesome.
Yeah, but see, they were worried about censorship. Like, they were in all the countries they were releasing in. So, from a business standpoint, it made sense to do what they did.
Yeah.
Like, that worry, okay, well, we can't afford to sit here and then suddenly edit this cart just for this region, or this game doesn't get out to this region at all, and we lose that market.
All right, so that's our next one. We're going to jump over to another evolution line here. Now, this one, I mean, if I'm willing to accept Dratini, I can accept this one. I can accept the Magikarp Gyarados line, but only because I love the mythos. How do we explain this one?
The dreaded nose pass. No.
You mean Groucho Marx merged with concrete?
Something, man. Oh my lord.
Okay, this website is really messing up my
It is not wanting to play.
It does not want to let me play. This is sad. Okay, there's the... All right, here we go. We'll use this one. Phoebus.
That ugly duckling swan song type of shit, but it's with a fish.
Yep.
You know, I always thought that was fun. I will say I always appreciated that, but it always made me a little upset that the reward for like enduring all that crap to get it to evolve. The shiny variant was like way more lustrous, like seemed way more like the reward than the standard colored.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just wrong. But then again, we have a gold and silver looking Barbaroach for its shiny, so I can't really understand that design either.
Yeah, and in Pokemon Go, the evolution mechanic for this one is different as well. You just have to walk 20 kilometers with it, I think.
Kilometers, whatever they want to call it.
And then I think the difficulty lies in just having enough candy for it, because it's a 400 rare candy evolution.
Some of those evolutions. I remember when I was able to play it before it was like, give me money to play. For me to even try to play it. It was like, some of those were just ridiculous. It's like, okay, come on, man. Where the hell am I going to find almost 1,000 candies of the previous form just to evolve you?
Right.
Come the fuck on.
And the only one that's really worth that hefty price in rare candy is Gyarados. Because
that's the one I was thinking. Remember being that way. I was like, dude, come on, man. It was rare that I found the Magikarp to begin with in my area, let alone...
Right. So we already had that negative to deal with. First finding Magikarp, and then finding enough to get those candies, while at the same time walking your Magikarp, so that way you can
that Magikarp, so he'll want to be like, hey, man, let's be friends.
Exactly.
Well, being Magikarp, like a freaking friend evolution.
The true underdog. What can we tell you?
He was one of those ones. You were definitely like, I'd rather just go fucking catch one in the wild than do this.
For sure.
Even if it was a shiny Magikarp, at that point, you're just like, I'm just having you out because you're gold looking.
And
No
this
other
whole
reason.
thing, and this whole like ugly duckling story, like I get it, but because it was so difficult to evolve this thing back in the day, it wasn't even worth it half the time. You just did it to fill the decks.
Oh, it was a good Pokemon in its game. It was one of the few I actually liked its design. Said, okay, Phoebus is kind of Pokemon-ish. Milotic was definitely a Pokemon. It made me feel Pokemon design. It was just you had to be dedicated or have a goddamn Game Shark, basically, or whatever the device was at the time. Basically, to sit there and be like, okay, let me just have max money, buy all these stat things, buy all this shit, clone this item, and make you love me.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it was like Gyarados times 10. Like you had to really want one,
Very true.
or
I
find
know
somebody who. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I evolved mine, but I don't really use it.
Like in later games, yeah, I definitely had one in one of my various team setups, but it was you have to want it. It's not just a okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just like it. It's like, no, you gotta want it. You gotta see some use for it other than data. Like the people that were stupid enough to sit there and like make them HM slaves, I was like, why? Why would you do that?
I tried not to do that with Lapras, but Lapras is just so adorable. Why wouldn't you teach it Surf?
Because for Lapras, that's like actually a really good move for it to know.
Mm-hmm.
It gets like stab on top of it, so it's freaking like a menace.
All right, let me queue up the next group here. Now this one actually knocks out a few of them at the same time, so I'm just going to use this photo in relation to the next evolution line we're going to be talking about. If it comes back up, there we go. We'll just do that.
If the site doesn't decide to go, what is your Google recappa?
Yep. And that's the Carvana line. Carvana or Carvana, however you want to say it. I think it's Carvana because it's like piranha. And Sharpedo.
I honestly always enjoyed Sharpedo. Now, it coming from a piranha, that's speculative.
And only the head of a shark, mind you. Only the head.
Yeah, but when you read what it's supposed to be doing and then you think about how a shark actually works, it's like, that was kind of clever.
Mm-hmm. But it's weird. How do you interjump species like that?
Well, I never said, oh, hey, it's fucking an amazing concept. No, I said how they like played with that design was kind of clever. But as far as evolution, I always thought it was kind of fucking strange.
And then down here we've got Barboach, however you say it, and Whiscash. You're noticing a lot of these later weird evolutions are mostly water-based.
Yep.
And water types are some of my favorites too. And even I'm here sitting going, what did you guys do?
What were you smoking today?
Yeah.
What was the herb of choice? Like, it's like a parasitic land prey fish. Then all of a sudden it turns into like a catfish. Like, what?
Right. And not to mention, again, for those of you who have played Arceus or have yet to play it, trying to fill the decks with Barboach is annoying.
The bane of everybody's existence right now.
It is so annoying trying to catch these things without getting seen by them.
Oh, that's not
and that's if they and that's if they don't go aggro on you.
The hit detection alone is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. It's insane trying to get these. And I remember having to hide out in this particular area where there's these two pieces of land linked by a small bridge, and I had to snipe those from a distance, hoping that I was going to hit him in the back of the head, and he wouldn't notice me at all. It's a pain, but it's doable.
So you say.
I have done it, so I know it's doable. All right, let's jump to another water-based evolution weirdo.
I as far as if I was gonna pick which one I was like okay with, I would probably say I was more okay with the Sharpedo evolution line than the Wishcash line. And as far as designs go, and trying to be like, okay, I can rationalize that because at least they're both predator, and they both look menacing. Then there's the parasitic land prey looking Barbaroach, and then there's Wishcash, the derpy looking catfish.
Yep.
It's like, no, I don't feel threatened here.
Now you mentioned this one earlier, so I'm interested to see what your point of view is on this evolution once it loads yet again. I am not trying to get to Facebook.
Sure you are. You want us to all know where you're at. You're like, let the doxing resume. No.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Okay, maybe this screenshot will work. Nope, that takes me to a video I don't want to get flagged for. Going back to Bulbapedia, folks.
Bulbapedia, you're a friend for everything.
Okay, so here's our next one. And that is the beautiful Clamperl.
Oh, the Clamperl evolutions, huh? I never got what the hell they were trying to do with that. I'm going to be perfectly, like, straight up honest.
I don't either. And a lot of the confusion rests with whether or not this part here is actually a pearl or if it's an egg.
It's a pearl.
Okay. So it's for sure a pearl.
It's for sure a pearl.
Okay.
It's just the question. It looks more like a clam as opposed to like what is it? Let's say cloister. That looks more like an oyster. Reminds me more of an oyster shell than a clam shell.
Right. But
its evolution line, though, it's like, okay, yeah, I've seen one of those. I could believe is like Mariana Trench Nightmare Fuel Dweller. Then I forget what the like more regal, like streamlined, definitely, probably seen floating around the surface layer of the ocean.
Right.
It's just
that would be
all three of them. It's like they could totally be their own independent Pokemon. They don't need to be like some special evolution line. It was like them just wanting to try something, throw a new thing out there because they really didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Is what it made me feel like.
Now, these are, at least I know that Gorbis is a trait evolution. Is Huntail a trait evolution too?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think they're all...
This is where I'm trying to draw that fine line between, is it an evolution or is it a hatch? You're saying that the little sphere inside is a pearl. I've always wondered if it's a pearl or an egg because of the fact that there is a face on it, but that could go either way, honestly. And with the way that these evolutions work, I kind of see that being more of an egg possibility because you never know what's going to hatch out of there.
It's weird. It's honestly, that's where it is. It's very speculative. I've never met anyone, as much as people try to act like, oh, I love that, try to be that one asshole that's gonna be like, oh, I'm a super fan. It's like, the fuck you are. You're just trying to be that one dude who is going against the grain just to do it, you know?
You mean like the hardcore Sea King fans out there?
The hardcore fans. You know, I'm sure there is somebody out there. I would actually have them on the show if they could prove to me they're a hardcore Sea King fan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would really want to engage in that and have it help me understand their fandom to it. I've met people that have liked all kinds of Pokemon. There's like a handful. I've never encountered that person. And this is when I was a competitive player. This is when I was a gym leader at the con Gamer X. I've never, and my thing was, you play with your favorite Pokemon. I want to see your favorite ones, not your cookie cutter. I don't care if you didn't have your favorite. I didn't give you a badge. If I suspected you were just cookie cuttering me, I don't care if you beat me. I wasn't giving you a badge, you know. Because that was just you trying to streamline, trying to be in the little micro tournament we had for anybody that had the badges that wanted to participate. It's just
Leo shouting out his favorite Pokemon is Snorlax.
So is Monkeys. Monkey still has that badass Purrler thing that Zombie made for him and made two different stands because the idea of was just kind of cool to have either a heavy ball option or the Poke Flute, which he's sitting on the Poke Flute because that is just too awesome. Reminder of back in the day, that's how you had to get a Snorlax. That was like the only way was to try to wake him up. Mind you, one of the tricks I hated they took away out of the games, where they made sleep like a really annoying threat, was the trick that you could play your Poke Flute in battle.
Oh, in Gen 1?
It was in a few gens. It took a while for them to decide to take it away.
Yeah, it's definitely an underdeveloped aerial, Ikun. I mean, Gorbis has the shells where they need to be, at least.
Are they shells or are they just some weird fins? That's the real question.
That is a good point.
Because those evolutions are not gender locked.
I could see Gorbis being as sort of like a pre-Horsey or maybe somewhere in between Horsey and Sea King evolution.
See, I forget what Gorbis is. I actually at one point looked this up. So, like, what animal was supposed to inspire this? Because generally, there's always like something that inspires this design.
Right. Yeah. And this is why I brought into question whether or not the pearl inside of Clan Pearl is actually a pearl or an egg, because for those of you who know your marine biology, fish are known to lay eggs inside of clams. So I kind of looked at that as maybe that's what they were going with it, and maybe that's why you get that monstrosity, but I have no idea.
It's hard. It's hard to tell. On some of these, like, it's part of the problem also is the way it's sitting. The whole, like, the fact they made a point to almost, I want to say, like, have it be very, like, perched, like, almost like that it's attached to that chunk of flesh in the clam.
Right.
Is what makes it really hard to say, is that for sure just a pearl with a face on it, or could that just be like Togepi, a freaking egg?
Yeah, like it encompasses all of it.
Like, it's ready to sit there and do what a clam usually does in danger. You know, wrap its muscle around it and close. Not just be like, oh, well, good enough.
Right. And like you mentioned, looking at Cloyster here.
It's like Cloyster, there's no doubt what its business is about.
Yeah. You know, when you look at Shelder evolving into Cloyster, you can see how that would make sense. And Cloyster is just a meaner, bigger, more threatening, and more protected.
Like I said, to me, the way it looks, like if you look at like an oyster shell, it looks like it changed. You know, okay, that's it's still there, but it's not his. Okay, is that really a clam or is that a barnacle? What the hell? Not to be confused with the fact they actually made a Pokemon based off a freaking barnacle. Like, seriously, I don't know what the deal there was. It's like, did you lose a bet?
All right. Now, this one is not so much an evolution mystery, more so just an odd design choice. And even I have kind of looked at this design, at least for the final form, and was trying to figure out where exactly they were going with it. Because I can kind of see it, but then at the same time, I'm even more confused the longer I stare at it. And let me get him there. That is the Snivy line.
Why are you going to hate on Snivy line? I actually like the Snivy line.
I'm not hating on Snivy. I'm really not.
compared to like some of the other Pokemon that for its starting roster, I mean, yeah, the legs thing, I was always kind of like, why would he be a snake with legs? Like, okay, arms I can roll with. Because we could just say that's like leaf appendages or something, like any of the other Pokemon, you know, that they somehow have some sort of maneuverability with.
Right. So.
And we get to Superior, who's like, I need no arms or legs. I'm a true snake.
But see, that's where the argument comes in.
Is.
Because you can argue that through evolution on its own, a serpent started out as a snake with appendages. Tracing a snake's lineage all the way back as far as possible, that, you know, snakes did in fact, you know, have arms or had legs until that part in their evolution just phased them out. Even to, and I hesitate to bring this point into it because I don't want to make a whole conversation about this, but even in the biblical sense, with the whole Adam and Eve story and the serpent being cursed to slither on its stomach after it lost its appendages in the story. So you can argue that both science and I was looking for the word no, that's not what I want to call it. Theology come in. But the thing is, there is still confusion as to whether or not Superior actually lost its limbs or if they're actually tucked behind him.
Fair enough. But I honestly believe he just kind of, if it wasn't for the legs on the first two forms, it's like, okay, I don't feel there would be a huge, like, weird argument to it.
Yeah.
It's because he has those legs that it's like, okay, those must have been arms too.
And we see here in the second form, the Servine, the legs have gotten longer. The arms have kind of shrunken a bit.
They're more receding and look more even like leaves like on his back. But the legs still are there and are even more relevant.
and we look at Superior here, you can kind of see where his hands might actually be, where his arms might actually be, and he's actually just tucking them behind because he's supposed to be like regal. He's supposed to be like, royalty and
Yeah,
such.
it's weird illustration. It's like
Mm-hmm.
tomato kind of situation with him.
And even though I still laugh to this day at the Pokemon short, Pokemon disappointed with their evolutions, and they highlight how Superior feels that he lost his arms and legs, and he's freaking out about it. And um, is it Embor? That's the final form
Embor
of
is final form. Yeah, Embor.
Yeah. And then of course Samurott. They're both like, I'm a wrestler pig. I'm a samurai sea lion. And then he
And then
evolves.
there's Torcat, who becomes like Incineroar.
Mm-hmm. And instead of like feeling cool and feeling proud of what he evolves into, Superior's first question is, "Where are my arms and legs?"
It's a relevant goddamn question.
And then he says my favorite line when he screams, "Why is this a thing?" The cartoon is hilarious. I encourage you guys to watch it. And
Definitely.
Thank you, Josh, for introducing me to it.
You're welcome. They do other things, but yeah, the Pokemon ones are always fun. They're supposedly going to be doing a new Sonic one. Like they have shorts where like Sonic says or whatever.
Right.
But definitely like ones to check out are the Pokemon ones, Pokemon Rusty. Mega Man dies at the end. That series was amazing.
If Pokemon trainers were smart, that one's a favorite of mine.
Oh, the shorts where it's the advice if like such and such had an assistant.
Those are great. Yeah, Kevin the assistant.
Oh yeah. Kevin sits there and he's like, "Why half? Then why would you let the other half come at you and kill you?"
He really brings to light a lot of the flaws that some of these villains actually have, which is great because whether you've actually thought about this before or you haven't and Kevin just brings it to your attention, you actually sit back and go, wow, that's actually true. Why does Bowser fight Mario on a bridge where the axe is behind him and the princess could easily just go up to him and kill him with it, or, reduce the bridge, thus killing him that way? The Robotnik one was hilarious.
Oh, there's the power-up mix-up shorts when they were doing those. Those were great.
Mm-hmm.
Power-ups went to the wrong games. There was what was there? There was one that was like really good. Oh, Bowser addresses the guy who was making his weapons and like points out the bullet shouldn't move so slow that Mario could just easily jump or kill him.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. The only thing that is accurate to True Arsenal is Torpedo Ted. Like those actually move really fast in the water.
Oh, the funny part of that is in the end of this, kind of a spoiler. They show this automated Gatling come up, and Mario makes this joke that it's just going to be a slow bullet bill. He'll wait and he'll jump over, and it's actually a fully automated, real automated Gatling, and just like wastes him into a puddle. But how Bowser drove the point home was like to the guy he's like arguing about bigger is better. He's like, "Oh, you can't dodge a big bull." He's like, "Oh." He fires off, like pulls out a Glock and just shot him like the knees or something. He's like, "Yeah, you could really easily dodge those small ones, couldn't you?" Just give me some real guns. Like he's distraught because Mario's murdered his kids, and Bowser in that universe, in the Darkly verse or whatever verse it was at the time, or in this case, since it's lowbrow now, his ex-wife gets alimony and child support for all the Koopas. And they have a thing against Bowser Jr. like he's the favorite. The Koopa. It's like, okay. Kind of a little too real there for a minute. But it's, yeah, like we said, you definitely want to check them out because it's worth your time.
Yeah, the Dorkly channel has a lot of great shorts. And then the Pokemon Trainer Rusty is like, what, an hour long or so, but it's split up into parts.
It's when they condense them, it's really long, but there are smaller parts. It's a matter of just do you want to binge or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some. Oh, well, that Pokemon ran away like a little bitch. He Pokey ran. That's okay. I got what I needed out of him anyway.
So this is a very unique one, and anyone with experience in entomology, is that the study of insects?
Believe so. Is this the Flygon line?
Yes, it is. Trapinch.
Yeah, Tarfinch doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. And then you look at like Flygon in what is this in the middle form, and it's like
Vibrava.
Yeah, there we go, Vibrava. And it's like, okay, what the fuck's going on here? Like he straight up looks like a bug, but he's not typed like a bug, which is weird.
Yeah, every evolutionary line. Every part in this line is not a bug type, which is really weird because they are bugs.
They look straight up like until you get to Flygon, where that's the dragon.
Right.
There's no question what he is.
Mm-hmm. And Trapinch is supposedly based off of antlion larva.
Yeah.
And then we've got Vibrava, which is supposed to be a fully grown, matured antlion.
But see, it never reminded me of an antlion, though. It reminded me of a freaking locust.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. Sure. Like, I was like, that's a locust.
And then we've got Flygon. Which, again, how does this 2-stage insect become a ground dragon?
A flying ground dragon, no less.
Yeah. Aside from maybe the wing design, has no relation to the original form at all.
Well, I'd almost give the compound eyes to him as well.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe like the way its antennae sit, but as far as like the very first form, no, not a damn thing. It's like Tarfinch is straight up, yeah, they said he was larva, guess what? He's fucking larva.
Yep. And then he gets an evolution that has nothing to do with it, for sure.
Exactly. Though I will say the shiny second form is kind of nice. I liked the shiny version of the second form.
Aren't they mostly green except for Flygon?
Flygon's shiny is like he gets like some bluishness to him. Mm-hmm. Tarfinch is like a weird like army-esque moss green color. And Vibrava is like, it almost reminds me like of like a bug inspired like antique brooch or something with its coloring. Gotcha. Like somebody took a little bit of time on some of those forms to shiny them out.
I guess they don't have or maybe they do. Just trying to find a quick picture of the shiny form. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. If not, we can always do it on Catch or Trash.
So yeah, actually, speaking of which, that's a good time to bring that up. We should definitely jump into that.
Like it is time. My new host is not holding out anymore.
Hey, I can go all night. Y'all know that from the Retroactive Trio podcast.
Dun, free plug.
Free plug. Even though
we're not
really.
we're not charging $Poké to the Retroactive Trio for this plug.
Not at all.
They were plugged free this time. Now, if you would like to have advertisement time, please send a check to And I'll let Zombie handle that business because that's not my bag.
All right. Well, I get catch your trash going here. These were just some of the few evolutions that we just wanted to discuss tonight. There are plenty more that we can go into.
Oh yeah, there's plenty.
If you enjoyed this topic, please let us know in the comments and in my Discord if you want to see a part 2 of this. These are just some of the ones that we're really familiar with, and then there's a mixture of other evolutions that really start to touch upon the whole Darwinism factor, such as Picky Peck.
How we go from a woodpecker to a toucan?
Right, and that actually, if you know your ornithology, you definitely can see where they were going with that. I have to admit, when I first played Sun and Moon, I was kind of like, what? But like I said, if you know birds, you can kind of see how the woodpecker and the toucan share a common ancestor. But we don't have to get into that fully right now. That's just another option that we can discuss in a future episode. So feel free to comment if you'd like to see a part 2 or maybe even a part 3 if we've got enough for them.
Oh, I'm sure we can find more. We've got another game on the horizon. Are you kidding?
Yep.
That like opens a can of worms for like regional variants and everything too.
That's true.
I mean, but while he's queuing up things, we're also working on improving this, adding new features in the works. We're thinking of always the fun things. Like, I throw ideas out there, Zombie will be like, hey, I like that. Let's see if we can make that work. Or, no, that sucks. Back to the drawing board with you.
I've never told you that.
Not yet. I have not came out with anything yet. You're like, hey. That I don't like that one. Not yet. I'm a realist. I'm a realist. I can't have gold all the time.
Hey, you know what? I'm very feasible.
I'm not a perfect being, and I never want to be a perfect being. That brings up a whole discussion I had with my grandmother, of all people, man, about how I don't believe in the concept of being perfect because that means you can't improve or grow, and I am not down like that. Sorry.
Fair enough. I would agree too. All right, so let's queue up Pokemon Catch or Trash.
Is it a Trashymon or is it a Digimon? We don't know.
Find out. Now, again, for those of you who are joining us for the first time or don't remember how this goes, we are going to show 5 pictures that Josh has done for us here. We're going to show its normal form, and we're going to show its shiny form. And you can vote in on whether or not you want to catch one or the other, both, or trash them all. That's how this works.
And no, we have not forgotten the pitch. Somebody wants us to have an animatic of switching over to this. We're just trying to figure out how to make that work right now.
Yeah,
it was a really good idea. Like,
so let's. Oh, go ahead.
I got nothing.
Okay. So let's cue off the first Pokemon here. If my alarm would stop going off.
Stop going off. He's like, stop in the name of Pokegod.
All right, Josh, which one is this?
Well, I gotta wait for it to queue up. This would be Flapple. Flapple's one of Flapple's evolutions, and it's not Apple Turn. I think it is Flapple, actually. Let me look that back up. I know there's one form that's like very Disney-esque looking that's called Apple Turnover or something like that, and then this one is like something else. No, not Amazon. I did not say go to Amazon. I said go to this Pokemon website.
All right.
As I look for it, it's off of Sword and Shield, so That's your first hint that it's taking me a little long to remember like its specific name 100%. Because Sword and Shield was that one I kind of like got real. Yeah, it's Flapple.
Mhm.
It's second. It's the other evolution is called Apple Turn. It's like branch evolution, like depending on what version or you had. It would evolve from Applin, its base form. It's like Grass Dragon. I personally never managed to get the shiny Flapple myself. I really liked it because no, I did. I take that back. I did get it. Now I'm thinking about it. I named it like G Smith because it reminded me of Granny Smith apple.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Even its normal form, I really liked it. It's like it was one of the ones that like made me even beyond the cover legendary be like, that's the version I want to play. Was I liked that particular evolution. So it was like, you're coming home with me.
All right.
So they're both catch for me. I don't know about you, sir.
I'm going to have to really think about this one. I like it. I like the premise. The design is cool.
You just haven't gotten to play with them, so you're like a little hand behind your back kind of moment, huh? Did you play Sword and Shield?
I played a little. I didn't get too much into it.
Well, that would be why you're a little on the fence here.
Because
he's definitely one of those. If you get to his spot, you are good. If you don't get to his spot, you're kind of be like, I don't know, man. It's just an apple. What's so cool about an apple dragon?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Dad level, you need to look up what Apple Turn looks like. It straight up looks like if Disney designed they gave him a rough idea.
Now, yay!
If you told someone that was a Disney artist, hey, I want you to make a grass dragon that's based off an apple. There you go. Somebody had an audio loop, I take it?
Well, I would probably catch both of these with an emphasis on the shiny.
Well, yeah, definitely is a target.
I think that's what I would do.
That's what I did, and then there was a freaking. That's one of the ones that like has actually a special. Certain ones have a special Gigantamax form. He has one. It's not like super amazing, but it was to me. It was worthwhile. I was like, okay.
All right, so it looks like Dad level will catch both, then make meat apple pie.
Meat apple pie. That's a little no es bueno.
No es bueno.
They are not far-fetched. We can't cannibalize them. Plus, it's lizard meat. Do you really want lizard meat in with your fruit?
That's true. Okay, so looks like we will, for the most part, be catching these. No trash.
Flapple gets a catch.
All right. Next up. Ooh. I can already answer this without even booting it up, but I would definitely catch both on this, and that is Alonin Marowak.
Of course. We've got a sound effect.
Let's see where the votes lie on this one.
Well, I personally will be catching this one. I mean, I lean more towards the normal one, but they're both cool.
I don't know. I'm rooting for
the you like constantly hitting that shaking Pokeball sound effect?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm like going, okay, I'm not losing my mind, am I? It's not like stuck now like the rest of the cast. We're just going to be hearing a shaking Pokeball symbol.
So, yep, I guess we're in agreement in catching. You have an emphasis on the normal version, or would you go for both?
I would go for both, but I'm saying as far as like which one whether it'd be like, oh, I have to go out of my way to catch this particular one.
Mm-hmm.
I could be very complacent and happy to just have a good normal one. I would
Yeah.
love to have a shiny one, but it's not like Full Apple where I was like, I must have the green one.
The Granny Smith.
If you know me, I love me a good Granny Smith apple, especially if you can get one that's really sour. I am totally there. I'm like your friend.
Oh, that's me all the way. That is totally me all the way. I would definitely do that. And Dad Level Podcast, I would catch both as well. All right.
Nice.
So, catch.
He's got that fun. Somebody's having fun with their stream deck now. We got a little bit of stress with that. We were like trying to see if it would work like on the pre-broadcast, and we could not hear it. We're like, we're just gonna have to go out there and ghost it and hope it freaking works.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely troubleshoot this setup in the next coming days because I definitely want to have fun with this.
Oh,
all right.
Plenty of fun to be had.
Yep. I kind of am. I'm on the fence on whether I would even want to catch one of these, let alone what version, if any. So let's get our next one.
I love how he's like prejudging before anyone else sees it. He's like, screw this one. I might not even show this panel.
Hitmontop.
Like back when it first appeared, the shiny I guess it just had to be the sprite color at the time, like how much color you could actually put out. I kind of liked both, but it's definitely one of those where like for decks I'd catch them. If I got a shiny of that one, I'd be like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely wouldn't be like, let me go out of my way to catch you.
I see.
But even then, you can't catch them in the wild. You have to like special encounter, like you have to have the perfect static, like a certain type of statting Tyrogue to evolve into it.
Right. Yeah, you have to catch it, or you could use items to mess with the stats.
He's stat based, which I'm kind of glad they did away with that idea because it was kind of a dumb idea. Because you could get like the perfect one, and then all of a sudden, nope, that is not what you're getting. Sorry, like, but it was like exactly what you said. It had to be kind of mediocre balanced.
Yep.
Nope, at the last second, it decided to be slightly higher in this one spot, and you got a Hitmonlee. It's like, but I need Hitmontop. I have an army of Hitmonlee.
So where do you lie with this one?
I'm gonna have to say kind of catch still.
Okay.
I mean, if it escaped, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, but it's just, first time, it's very a 90s Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah.
It definitely shows, because I mean, if you look at it, he kind of got the weird 90s bowl cut thing going on. He's got the breakdancer move kind of crap going down.
Yeah, the capoeira. Yeah,
I mean, it didn't stop me from naming one Zach, but you know, hey, that's me.
Yeah, I don't think I would keep Hitmontop as much as I like the Hitmon line. This just is one that I can't justify it. I like Hitmonlee way more anyway. And Hitmonchan is I mean, they go hand in hand. They're definitely a pair. Um, but yeah, for me, I'd have to trash Hitmontop for sure.
The world will turn to the trash.
Dead Level Podcast. I am more of a Hitmonchan kind of guy, so I'm guessing
he said he'd go for the norm. He wouldn't catch the. He wouldn't go out of his way to get a shiny. Like I said, if a shiny appeared on him, cool, but it wouldn't be like I felt an absolute necessity to get him.
Mm-hmm. All right, our next one. This guy's a chore to evolve in Go, but kind of worth it.
Kind of worth it, you say?
Kind of worth it. I didn't say fully.
He's not a little bitch Pokemon.
Now, because Cutie loves bats, I would probably have one for her.
All right, hold on. Is she an earshot?
No, she's not. She's probably playing Final Fantasy.
That's why he's so secure talking about it.
Hey, that has nothing to do with this. Uh-huh.
We will see.
I think I like the normal form more than the shiny, but that's because I like the color blue. I don't know if she would want the shiny form or the normal form either.
I've never seen Swoobat have a good shiny coloring, like graphically adjusted. I've never seen it.
Mm-hmm. But I got to admit, this one's a little cutie itself. It's got the little heart nose, the little hook feet. You know, he's just like a little flying bat cloud.
That's that little heart-shaped end of its tail.
Yeah, for sure. So, I would say catch, and would probably try to get one of each just to differentiate which one is mine and which one is Cutie Bat's.
I would probably catch it. Oh, well, no, I'd probably end up catching one, probably kind of like Psyduck style, where it just kind of, a ball fell out of my pocket and it wandered and got caught.
All right, so that's a catch for both of us there. Counter argument. Dad Level Podcast. Only the normal just to complete the decks. Zubat all the way.
Yeah. Somebody doesn't remember the Lunala, obviously. Because let me tell you, you wouldn't be saying that with either form of Lunala. Is Zekrom armored version or...
Mm-hmm.
Or is it Necrom? I forget what the hell that stupid thing called itself in Ultra Sun and Moon.
All right, and our last one for the evening. Ariados, or Ariados, however you say it.
Ariados.
Ariados.
It's the shiny's such a muted, like white balanced color against the norm that you wouldn't really notice it. But I have always made a point of training a Spinarak into an Ariados early game, so it's a catch for me.
So this is an instant catch with any emphasis on the normal or shiny?
Probably most likely the normal, because the shiny is it's not very distinct.
All right. So, yeah, I agree. I feel that the shiny colors are a bit muted. I did like the shiny Spinnerack.
Which is a
So
damn shame when you think about it.
yeah, yeah, you would have thought that they would have had more vibrant colors with the evolution.
Or it would have been
Uh,
darker colors since it's supposed to be like a predator kind of Pokemon.
right. I mean,
Ambush predator.
there was a whole episode dedicated to these in the Spinnerack, if I remember right, in the Johto League episodes.
I mean, that's their thing, is they're supposed to be like these poisonous ambush predator Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Uncle Phil? How you doing? Glad you can make it.
The Uncle Phil Pokemon trainer has entered the building.
Yep. So I guess in this case, I would definitely go with catch and emphasis on the normal form.
Bing!
Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with this.
And no, folks, he doesn't have the sound of a Pokeball shattering with endless Poke screams happening. We're working on that sound effect.
It was as if 1,000 Poke voices cried out and were suddenly
Because
silent.
Josh Shadow threw it into a garbage can and apparently lit it on fire.
That's cruel.
Apparently, that's my game, and that was suggested by a fan. So, I mean, who am I to argue? I am a ghost fighting type, so.
'Tis true. 'Tis true. And you definitely want to check out the Sun and Moon anime for that, because isn't that the one where he dukes it out with that weird machine come to life Pokemon?
Are you saying what is it? You're thinking Magirna or something like that? I remember. No, there was like the Water Fire Legendary and her were like in a movie. Marshadow was in a movie where it was like they finally did something about pretty much giving Ho-Oh his own movie, but it was like weird, like had to have a special wing and be chosen kind of thing. It was like one of those movies that kind of filled between transition of regions.
Mm-hmm.
Like there weren't the normal sidekicks with Ash. Ash was kind of apparently by himself and just met some random trainers that wanted to hang out with him for a minute.
I still would.
And let me tell you on that movie though, Marshadow like stomped the crap out of Pikachu.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
It was bad. He did the Z, basically did the Z move to Pikachu. And I was like, oh damn.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I remember he was trying to get Pikachu to use Iron Tail, if I remember correctly.
The swap backs Shadow Balls, and then it was like, then he turned around and what was it? Yeah, he went went around again trying to stop him, and he straight went into a Z move and like what looked like a filled way they animated of just straight aura spears like all over the place, like machine gun punched it. I was like, oh shit. It's like, nah. Then he like basically when they're like this big flash because Pikachu did his Z move or whatever, his big move. So you're not supposed to be able to really see it DBZ style, basically straight up like shuriken and then like kicked Pikachu out of the air. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah.
Marshadow was not playing. He's like, I have the wing and I'm bringing about the end of days because somebody the chosen one couldn't hang on to it, kind of shit.
Mm-hmm. And I recommended that fight to Demon to watch for inspiration on how Marshadow actually
fights.
how he fights.
He does appear apparently briefly in one of the episodes for the Ultra Sun and Moon too, where he's like, where the episode they queued up was the Pokedex Rotom somehow got out of it and really wanted to be back in, but he was like just getting like dragged around by electricity to different points. And at one point, he sees a rare Marshadow like standing out of a shadow and wants to take a picture. And he's like, I can't. And then Marshadow just takes off and it's like, oh.
Yeah, he was
like,
complaining he wasn't a Dex anymore.
I was like, damn, they got me before I knew I was me. Like, sucker.
All right, folks, we are at the 2-hour mark, and that about wraps it up for tonight's episode. I want to thank all of you guys for being here, for discussing with us all the weird evolutions, just some of the weird evolutions that the world of Pokemon has to offer, and whether or not we agree with what they eventually become. It's still fun to chat with all of you guys and see what your opinions are on the subject, which ones were some of your favorites, and of course another fun round of catch or trash, which is always fun. Josh has some new ones lined up, which we will definitely do in the next episode. And like the Retroactive Trio podcast, if you guys have suggestions for any episodes or any facets of Pokemon that you would love to discuss, feel free to make those suggestions. And if you would like to join us in the podcast, let us know. We will definitely work with that.
Oh, yeah. We got Ikun, so we're very, very, user-friendly.
And
just don't be surprised if you're animated with me, like, possibly wanting to catch you or maybe knock you out. Zombies just kind of being cool with it. There is a picture floating around of how we took care of Gary Oak and his Arcanine.
Oh yes, let me share that, please. Before we sign off, I want to definitely show this art.
This is apparently how we handle trainers that talk shit to us. Try to catch us. We're mythical legends for a reason.
For those who tried to knock us out and catch us when our backs are turned. Oh, and I just forgot this. Here's that original Gyarados for you folks. Thank goodness they did not keep that.
I told you, dude. That is straight freaking just nightmare fuel. Could you imagine when you were younger and the game first came out and that's what you got?
I could imagine like a Pokemon based off of a Graboid or a Leech of some kind. But yes, I am really glad this is not Gyarados.
I'm just saying that's just no. That was a good call on their part to not go with that option.
So here we are. Here's this awesome piece of art that I may just use for the next episode just because I love it so much.
Well, I use this promotional we're starting live material, so
There we go.
Yes, I'm all serious, and he's popping out the car going, so pizza? It's like, sure. Gary's like stunned at how bad we messed up poor Arcanine.
If you were taking care of business, I probably would just sit back, watch, and be like, all right, so pizza now? Yes, exactly. Dreamcatcher dad level. We always find our way to coming back to that, I've noticed within the last couple of days. Stephen King, what can we say?
Oh, Lord.
Poor
Arcanine. So if somebody wants to see us basically driving around in a murderous car around the Pokemon region now.
It's got to be the car from the actual movie, The Car. That's all I want to say about that.
Oh, wow. Just sitting there driving around, driving Miss Daisy. No, driving to stomp a trainer's ass for some reason. Maybe liberate a Pokemon or sleep more. We don't know. You don't know how we handle beating trainers. We don't just take money,
Right? And don't go snooping around my truck.
Oh, good lord, that's gonna be so. I'm telling you, I would just love to see that image in general done. Like I told you about that would just be a perfect. Okay, we gotta take a pause for a minute, folks.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks a lot for you all being here. Thank you for keeping the chat popping. I loved all your comments and suggestions and theories. Again, feel free to shout out any topic ideas you'd like to discuss with us here and let us know if you want to be a guest star as well. So until next time, I am the Zomu.
Not gonna do the Mew noise, are you?
No.
I just love the dramatic pause.
Isn't that how it laughs in the movie?
Yeah, that's the last pretty accurate. The actual Mew call could use some work.
Yeah, I'm a little parched.
Here, let me see if I can do it. See if my voice is better enough that I can pull the range. You know how sad that was that I got that down thanks to Pokemon Snap on N64.
Interesting.
Look, as many times as there were things because of where its stage was, there was like different things you could take pictures of to get the like max score for the area and everything. That thing was constantly squealing. So it like eventually got locked into my brain where I was like, okay, I know how it sounds now.
What about you?
You haven't even called me out yet.
I don't call.
You haven't said, and as always, here's such and such. I have to answer. Do it right or not at all. We're a fancy professional establishment here. Nah.
As always, my Poke partner.
Oh, now as I'm about to do what you decide. I see how it is. I see how it is, Mew. Anyway.
Mimic.
We've got, as always, I am that lovable, violent, fighting, adorable ghost teddy bear, Josh Shadow, the Marshadow. I can't do super cute and spooky at the same time. It's just not in my range.
Fair enough. You all, thanks again. Have a good night, and we will catch you on the next episode.